Come, Lex, come. You can see it from here. Primate niche. It's just winter right now. They have 4 seasons.
What it do, Primate Nation? It's me, your boy, Joe Van, the worldly man. And today we're venturing forth into the topic of Monke's Mount. It's an age-old question to those who live in Europe and North America. Where monkeys from? Where they? Where Monke? Monke. I want Monke. Give me Monke. And to that I say, a very astute question, and how well articulated you are, young one. Couldn't have said it better myself. Monkeys and apes can be found all around the world. Wow. But of course, they are each localized to a specific environment. And today I figured what better way to tell you where they are than to break down the species and areas, but also the origin of how we came to know where they live, from human migration to our first documentations of them. But first, make sure to like and subscribe. Algorithm dumb, make it better to spread the sacred word of monkeys far and wide. Ha 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 ha! I want to start with the easiest primate of all, us humans. Our last common ancestor to our nearest other genus, the pangenus, was 6 million years ago. We inhabited the Congo as one, but the tribes moved out, and the changing environment changed our ancestors' physiology. Through countless generations, we changed shape until we started shedding our fur, and looked how we look now. There is no clean scale of this, as we are not one singular unit, but many different ones. So much so that there were actually different species. Around 1 million years ago, the popular 2 species were Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. 30,000 years back, we stopped seeing Neanderthal bones, and thus we humans were the last remaining species in the Homo genus. Aww. The rest of the primates won't get as such a long backstory as this, but with all that said, the earliest known artifacts of humans were found in Kenya, by the west bank of Turkana Lake, in a site called Lomekwi, dating back 500,000 years.
That's a lot of years.
From there, we humans continue to move. Our different migrations spread farther than most other mammals usually go. Now, we span, the globe. So mapping humans is easy because we're everywhere. Next, let's cover the other apes, starting with our closest related species, chimps and bonobos. Part of the pan genus, chimps and bonobos are both native to Central and West Africa, but they've carved out distinct territories that reflect their different behaviors and evolutionary paths. I made a whole video about it, so you can find that on my channel. Chimpanzees, also known as pan troglodytes, are spread across a wide area, from Guinea and Sierra Leone in the west, across to Uganda and Tanzania in the east. They thrive in a range of habitats, from rainforests to woodlands and savannas, mostly staying in forested regions though, where they have access to both tree cover and open ground for foraging. Chimps are more adaptable to different environment, thanks to their broad dietary range, from fruits to insects and even meat. They also form large social groups and rely on complex social structures and hierarchies, which are easier to maintain in larger, more variable territories. They're opportunistic and more aggressive in defending their territory too. As a side effect of this, other chimp groups create ripple effects, forcing weaker ones to venture farther than they otherwise would have. Bonobos, also known as Pan-paniscus, on the other hand, are found only in the forests of the Congo Basin, primarily in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC. Their range is smaller because they're confined to the south of the Congo River, which acts as like a natural barrier. Bonobos are mostly forest dwellers and prefer dense, lowland forests. Why, you may ask? The Congo River is one of the main factors keeping bonobos isolated from chimps. Over time, bonobos evolved in this relatively protected environment, which has shaped their behavior. They're far more peaceful and cooperative compared to chimps, with social interactions often centered around sexual behavior as a means to resolve conflict. This might be due to the lack of intergroup competition and fewer territorial disputes in their environment. I also made a whole video about bonobos. You can check that one out too after this. Between the two, chimps get the wider range because they're tougher, more territorial, and can adapt to different environments. Bonobos, meanwhile, have their niche carved out by the river, resulting in more peaceful and egalitarian society in their smaller, more isolated world. Biggest issue here is that they aren't paying any taxes.
Oh my God.
We know you know better, bunch of moochers. Next up, gorillas. The misunderstood gentle giants of the animal kingdom, I should specify. They live almost door to door with pan apes. The biggest difference in gorillas are that you can actually go on guided tours to see them. That's how chill they are. Now, let's get into where they live. There are two species found in two distinct regions of Africa: Western gorillas and Eastern gorillas. Each species has its own habitat preference, and they've settled into different niches due to the geographic separation. Western gorillas. The Western gorilla, also known as gorilla, is found in the forests of West and Central Africa, including countries like Cameroon, Central African Republic, Gabon, and the Republic of Congo. There are two subspecies, the Western lowland gorilla, the more common one, and cross-river gorilla, which is much rarer and found in a smaller range along the border between Cameroon and Nigeria. They thrive in lowland forests where food is abundant, mainly fruits, leaves, and stems, and where they can make nests out of vegetation for sleeping. The lowland forest areas also provide shelter from predators, though humans have become their biggest threat through habitation destruction and poaching. Eastern gorilla, also known as gorilla Baringi, is found further east in the mountainous forests of Central and East Africa, specifically the Virunga Mountains that span Uganda, Rwanda, and the DRC. The temperature is cooler, and the vegetation consists of tough, fibrous plants. They can withstand the harsher conditions due to their thicker fur and more substantial body mass. The two subspecies here are the mountain gorilla, known as gorilla Baringi, and eastern lowland gorilla, known as the gorilla Baringi grauri. Did I say that right? Probably not. Between these gorillas, the differences in location are largely due to the mountain ranges, rivers, and other barriers that have acted as natural divides over time. Gorillas, being territorial creatures, also evolved to adapt to their specific regions, with some subspecies developing greater resistance to certain diseases, different diets, and physical traits suited to particular habitats. Orangutans. Orangutans, the final branch of great apes, are found in regions of Southeast Asia. What sent them over there? We cannot know, but only surmise their collective reasons were the same as our ancestors: territory beefs and following food. They're specifically found in the islands of Borneo and Sumatra, which are part of the larger Malay archipelago. There are three species of orangutans here: Borneo orangutan, also known as Pungo pygmaeus, found in the island of Borneo, divided between Malaysia and Indonesia; Sumatran orangutan, also known as Pungo abeli, found in the rainforests of Sumatra, Indonesia; and Tapanuli orangutan, also known as Pungo tapanuliensis, a newly discovered species found in 2017 as part of Sumatra, mainly in the Batang Toru region. Why? Well, orangutans are arboreal and spend most of their lives in tropical rainforests. These forests provide a dense canopy and a wealth of fruits, leaves, bark that make up a bulk of their diet, and more. The islands of Borneo and Sumatra offer the right conditions for orangutans to survive and thrive. Plenty of food, shelter, and seclusion from larger predators. Though again here, humans unfortunately pose the most major threat. Geographically, Borneo and Sumatra are separated by the Sunda Shelf, and their forests were once connected, but over millions of years the orangutans adapted differently to the two islands' environments, leading to the split into different species. The dense rainforests and swampy areas provide both habitat and a buffer to other large predators, making them the ideal location for orangutans to evolve their solitary, slow-paced, tree-based lifestyle. Gibbons, which belong to the Hylobatidae family and are known as lesser apes, are distributed with a significant presence in the Indo-Malay region. They're found in countries such as Thailand, Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Indonesia, and Malaysia. There are several species, including the Hulak gibbon, found in northeastern India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar, the white-handed gibbon, found in Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, and the Sumatran gibbon, found in the island of Sumatra. Gibbons are like orangutans, arboreal, but unlike orangutans, they are highly social and active, living in the upper canopies of tropical rainforests. They rely on these lush, dense forests for both food, fruits, leaves, and flowers, and of course, protection. Their long arms are perfect for swinging from tree to tree, which is why they are often referred to as lesser apes, due to their branchiation, also arm-swinging abilities. Also, due to their lack of tail, though there are select monkeys without tails that aren't apes. Unlike orangutans, gibbons are more territorial, using vocalizations, heard here, their own distinctive songs, to communicate and establish boundaries within their forests. Their need for dense, connected forest corridors have meant that their habitats are becoming increasingly fragmented due to deforestation and human activity. Geographic boundaries, like rivers, mountains, and island separations, limited their spread and drove species diversification. Their fragmentation of these forests today, due to human development, is a serious threat to all groups, pushing them into increasingly isolated pockets of land. Here we go, big switch time. Old World monkeys, part of the Cercopithecioidea superfamily. They're found across a wide swath of land. These monkeys are primarily divided into two broad categories, Africa and Asia, with different species adapted to different habitats. Old World monkeys in Africa are often divided into two groups, the Cercopithecioidea, examples being baboons and macaques, and the colobines, examples being colobus monkey and langurs. These monkeys are found throughout sub-Saharan Africa and parts of northern Africa. So why Africa? Old World monkeys evolved around 40 million years ago in Africa and gradually spread across the continent. Africa's varied climates, from the dense rainforests of the Congo Basin, home to colobus monkeys, to the open savannas and grasslands of East Africa, home to baboons, vervets, and macaques. They're mainly terrestrial or arboreal, and their versatile diet, being fruits, leaves, seeds, and insects, helps them thrive in different ecosystems. Now to Asia! Old World monkeys in Asia, like macaques, perhaps the most widespread monkey of them all, have a wide range and can live in a variety of environments, from mountain ranges to coastal areas. So why Asia? The vast and varied landscape of Asia, ranging from tropical rainforests, home to macaques, coastal climates, home to proboscis monkeys in Borneo, Indo-Gangetic plains, and the Himalayan mountains, also home to macaques as well as langurs, all offer ideal conditions for monkeys. Monkeys began to spread into Asia around 25 to 30 million years ago, so long before us. And because these monkeys are so adaptable, the ones who live near human settlements, like macaques, form close relationships with the humans there. Old World monkeys are typically larger and more terrestrial than their New World counterparts, which we'll get to, which means their habitats tend to be more open and adaptable to change in elevation and climate. The Africa-Asia split during the continental drift around 50 million years ago set the stage for Old World monkeys to become the diverse and widespread group they are today. Now, lastly, let's get over the name. These monkeys got their classification due to how history was written. Old World monkeys are not old. They're quite young, in fact. Barely a wrinkle on them. They were documented first by the ancient empires and later ones that took their place, so they're called Old World. And monkeys from the Americas were documented by the then European empires second, so they got called New World monkeys. Silly stuff, in my opinion, but I digress. Lorises. There are several species of lorises, and they're typically divided into slow lorises, also known as genus Nacetebus, and galagos, also known as bush babies. Though galagos are not technically lorises, They belong to a related group of primates. Despite this distinction, they're often grouped together due to similar traits, like being nocturnal and having a slow, deliberate way of moving. The Sri Lankan lorises and the Indian lorises are found in the rainforests of southern India and Sri Lanka, often living in the dense underbrush of tropical forests. The slow lorises species are widespread across Southeast Asia, including Sumatra, Borneo, and Java. They're typically found in tropical rainforests and are adapted to both arboreal and terrestrial environments. Some species of tarsiers, which are not lorises at all, but have that similar nocturnal and arboreal traits, are also found in the Philippines, though true lorises are less common in this area. Lorises belong to the Lorisidae family, diverging from other primates around 60 million years ago. One of the reasons the lorises are found in tropical forests is because their nocturnal nature is well suited to the dense canopy and the low light conditions of the rainforest. The dense foliage provides them with the perfect cover during the night, and their slow movements help them stay hidden. Lorises are insectivorous or omnivorous primates, depending on the species. They have specialized teeth and a highly developed sense of smell, which makes them effective hunters at night. Tropical forests, with their rich biodiversity, provide the steady supply of insects, and trees where lorises can sleep during the day. The varied topography and different layers of the forest, from canopy to understory and forest floor, give lorises opportunities to occupy different areas, often using the lower layers for feeding and resting. You'll either find them adorable or hideous. I'm a lover of all animals, not just primates, so I find them very endearing. Lemurs are found almost exclusively on the island of Madagascar and its surrounding smaller islands, Comoros and Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. The reason they're found only in this region has a lot to do with the isolation of Madagascar from the rest of the world, as well as the unique evolutionary pressures that shaped lemurs over millions of years. Thanks to the Disney film Dinosaurs, which is still photorealistic to me, damn it, I learned that lemurs are as old as dinosaurs. We don't know exactly how old, but we do know that lemurs delineated from lorises some 50 million to 65 million years ago. They belong to the suborder Stresphenomini, which is one of the oldest branches of primates. So the oldest lemur fossils found on Madagascar date back to the late Pleistocene, which is around 11,000 years ago. But surely they've been there longer than that? The findings are ongoing. Madagascar itself is thought to have split from Africa and India 160 to 80 million years ago, respectively. And a current theory for how lemurs got there is from a raft made of vegetation that cast off from the eastern coast of Africa.
But hey,
That's just a theory.
Madagascar itself is a land of geographic isolation, meaning that the lemurs and other species found on the island have limited contact with the mainland animals, leading to the development of species that are unique only to that island. In evolutionary terms, Madagascar is a sort of evolutionary laboratory, where lemurs had free rein to diversify without the threat of competition from other primates. Some lemurs, like the sifaka, are arboreal, meaning tree-dwelling, and live in the dense rainforests of the island, feeding mostly on fruits, leaves, and flowers. Others, like the ring-tailed lemur, are more terrestrial and live in the island's dry forests, where they forage on plants, seeds, and other small insects. Having few natural predators allowed lemurs to develop different social structures and behavioral patterns compared to other primates on other continents. However, with the arrival of humans and non-native predators, like cats and rats, lemur populations have been significantly affected, with many species now endangered or critically endangered due to habitat loss and hunting. You'll notice that as a constant throughout our mapping here. People arrive and primates lose homes. It's not that we shouldn't focus on that, but let's move on for now. Alright, here we are, New World monkeys, or platyrrhines. Platyrrhines are found primarily in the tropical forests of Central and South America, from Mexico to the north, down to Argentina and Uruguay in the south. These monkeys have adapted to the unique environments of the Americas, where their evolution was shaped by the vast and diverse landscapes of the continent. The majority of New World monkeys are found in the tropical rainforests of Amazonia, which covers parts of Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, and the surrounding countries, as well as the rainforests of Central America, from southern Mexico through countries like Guatemala, Honduras, and Costa Rica. They also range into the drier forests and mangrove swamps of places like Argentina and Ecuador. A few species, like the howler monkey and spider monkeys, are found on the Caribbean islands, such as Trinidad. So, why the Americas? New World monkeys are thought to have originated around 40 million years ago, when the supercontinent Gondwana split, and the ancestors of the New World monkey rafted or drifted all the way from Africa to South America. This early isolation from other primates in Africa and Asia led to the development of unique evolutionary traits, such as their unique look. One of the most iconic features of New World monkeys is their prehensile tails, long grasping tails that can function like an extra hand. This adaptation is particularly useful for monkeys living in the high branches of rainforests, where they can use their tails to grasp branches and navigate through the treetops. New World monkeys also have wide outward-facing nostrils, as opposed to the narrow downward-facing nostrils of Old World monkeys. This physical trait is thought to have been an adaptation to the humid environments of the rainforest, as it might help them sniff out food or detect predators more effectively. Compared to Old World monkeys, many New World monkeys are smaller, more agile, and more arboreal, allowing them to move quickly and quietly through the forest canopy. Finally, without the presence of larger primates or predators, New World monkeys could freely evolve into the diverse range of species seen today, from the tiny pocket-sized tamarins to capuchins to the larger howler monkeys. Even now, New World monkeys are relatively free from competition with other primate species, which has allowed them to fill almost every ecological niche in the rainforest, from insect-eating species to fruit eaters, and even species that live in larger groups, and those that prefer to be alone. Conclusion: primates are everywhere, from one collection of continents to the next. Each genus, path, and origin are awe-inspiring. We all descended from a species called Purgatorius that survived the asteroid impact which killed the dinosaurs. Then, from the ashes they emerged and migrated in search of food. That, in essence, is what made us and our cousins. Still blows my mind how far back certain primates like lemurs and lorises separated from our ancestors, though. Speaking of time and separation, still find it interesting to reflect on our lives as time moves forward, and to think of what home means to us. I made a whole video about my hometown that you can check out on my YouTube channel, and in it I talk about how, even though I've moved out and I plan to move even further away in the future, I'll always remember where I came from. For a lot of primates, from lemurs, bonobos, orangutans, New World monkeys, and more, their homes have taken hit after hit from human-made deforestation. It's not like anyone involved in these deforestation projects are watching this, but if you are, stop it. Find some other means for income, damn it. Animals are made endangered or extinct from your actions. Regarding the Amazon, for instance, it has been under the threat of an irreversible tipping point of deforestation since 2012, only kept from going over by activism and, throughout political spaces. But now the current president,
Luis Inácio Lula da Silva,
has pledged to eliminate deforestation in the Amazon by 2030. Not minimizing it, but eliminate it altogether, you guys. In his first year in office in 2023, his administration oversaw a 55% decrease in deforestation. So that's actually great news. We don't know what the future will hold for our furry friends, though. If you haven't seen Fern Gully or Disney's Dinosaur, I'd recommend watching those films to get an appreciation for forest dwellers and the like. Our cousins deserve a life well lived in their natural environment, and I hope letting you know where these guys live has given you an appreciation for where we started and where we can go by helping. Vote with your wallet when you can, like in getting reusable water bottles. And remember, I appreciate you all, wish you nothing but love in your life, hope you sleep well, fellow primates, and until next time, ciao for now. Peace!